Hi, welcome back to another episode of You're in Charge. Now what? I'm your host, Glenn Pasch, and I am so excited to finally have my good friend, Paul de Vries, from Holland right now,
Thank you. Yeah.
speaking with us today. And he's been in the automotive field for many years. He's been the owner of businesses. He's one of the leading consultants in Europe on automotive marketing and also lead handling. So I thought it would be really great, Paul, to discuss the differences between, Europe and the US, but also the idea of building teams, because I'm wondering how different it really is. So again, welcome. So let's jump in. Why do you as an individual come over to the States as much as you do to learn and get educated?
Sure. So thank you first for the opportunity to speak. It was a long time ago. It was indeed way too long
Right.
that we spoke. But to answer your questions, first of all, I love America as a country. I would love to come. I love to be there. As you know, we have a lot of friends, mutual friends as well. And it's very convenient for us to go to a conference in America because of the time difference, because you have actually a whole day free of time because the day ended here and then the day started there. So actually your mindset is also free to collect all the information.
Right.
And in some areas, America is further down the road than we are. In some areas you are behind us, and the one thing which I'm interested for is sales and marketing, and there we can learn a lot still from
Okay.
American dealers.
So what do you so when you say we're behind, we're ahead in some and we're behind. So in terms of ahead, you said
Yeah.
sales and marketing. What do you see as a difference, and what are some of the things that you're bringing back to your clients in terms of marketing?
Yeah, so on the sales and marketing side, we are behind in the automotive space, and that is also because is also a culture thing and also a law thing, because we don't have the kind of laws you have about employment. So people here are way more secured by the job, by the salary. So it is way more difficult to motivate them to sell more, to marketing more, to do more in a normal day-to-day operation.
Right.
So I'm looking always with that mirror. What can I learn here, which I can, what I can do in practice in Europe and still obey the law as well. So what can I learn to motivate my people more to sell also the last car in the month instead of I don't care.
Right. Well, but that what struck me, because as I've been over and you've been a
Hmm.
gracious host, and I learned from you as well. I think we both could learn, because I think there's times where we as an industry or as business
Hmm.
owners, because it's easy to let someone go,
Yeah.
it also can potentially say, well, then why am I even investing in Paul? And I could get rid of him. And it
Hmm.
becomes more of a threat, versus if someone is actually going to be part, whether it's the law or not, why
Hmm.
wouldn't I want that person to be here? Why wouldn't I want to invest in this person and do
Yeah.
training with them? So I see both sides.
No, it's definitely there are disadvantages and advantages
Mhm.
about the way we structured here. The loyalty to from the employee to the employer is way better. Is way better. We have not that turn in people than you have.
Right.
So we don't have to train them all the time, every new kid on the block every month.
Right.
So people will stay longer. But if people will stay longer, they also I don't want to I don't want to I don't want to say that they are more lazy, but they are more convenient to have a month without selling or without or lots of selling, etc. Because the salary will be there at the 24, and it doesn't matter if you sell a lot or you sell less. And because the bonus structure is so almost nothing, that
Right.
doesn't motivate them to sell more. So
So
you
it's
have to
almost the
motivate them
reverse
differently.
here, right? Where here we
Yeah.
compensate more on the commission. So if you want to make more, you sell more. You're saying that because they come in at a set salary, whether
Hmm.
they sell a little or a lot, they don't their salary's not going to change.
Yeah, but on the other hand, if you look at like this, if money is the only driver to motivate people, then everybody should be an entrepreneur, and not everybody is an entrepreneur. The
Right.
way America is setting it up, you make everybody an entrepreneur, and not everybody is an entrepreneur. So I think some of the European things, if you implement that in the automotive retail space in America, where people have a good salary, have 5 days of work, not bell to bell, etc., and better private life as well, you have maybe also better employees.
Yes. And I just was that was just a discussion topic the other day in one of the online forums, which
Mm-hmm.
was, how do you create that balance? Now the problem is some of the people who are, to your point, entrepreneurial are
Mm-hmm.
probably the ones who have moved up in the company because they
Yeah,
want to either make more, do more, they're willing to
yeah,
do that. But now they look at everyone else and say, well, everyone else should be like me, instead
yeah.
of saying, I don't need a room of everyone like me. That's me. I'm
No,
the
yeah,
leader. But if I
yeah.
could have a team where people come in, they're secure in their salary, there is a
Mm-hmm.
bonus structure to keep them motivated. But I had a dealer who said to me, why do I need everyone to sell? He picked the number 20 cars.
Yeah, yeah.
He goes, why don't I just have everybody sell 15? And if I have to hire 5 more people, that's
Yeah.
fine. Why push somebody beyond their limits? Because you'll push them
Mm-hmm.
out of the door. That was what he had said.
Yeah, but also from another perspective, in Europe, you have a lot of soccer players, right? Professional soccer players.
Mm-hmm.
And you will always see when a soccer player is making a lot of money, millions of doll- dollars a year, but
Mm-hmm.
he's on the bench, he will take the pay cut to play somewhere else because he
Right.
wants to play. So money is not the driver. People are going to leave a business because of the manager, not about the money.
Right.
On the other hand, you have to motivate them differently because money is not that important. On the other hand, if you can use money to motivate them the way you guys can, that should make my life more easier to fire some people easier. On the other hand, you have to invest more in your people. So it is disadvantages and advantages. You
Yeah,
have to invest
but
more
I
time and effort.
I agree with you. I don't think that that's such a good point because I don't think people look at that time that you're spending constantly in new hire training,
Mm-hmm.
beginning training, because, well, that's okay because I have a new person. But if you said to yourself, well, how much time is that taking away from that person to do something else that could generate revenue or grow themselves versus
Yeah.
we're constantly in this new hire mode? But see, I like that because some of the most successful dealers that I've dealt with, and I see
Mm-hmm.
this change now, is thinking along the lines of that is
Yeah.
how can we create a career path for someone? How can we get
Yeah.
someone to want to be here? And your other point is maybe when I'm younger in my 20s
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not married,
Yeah.
money is the motivator. But if I get married and I have a child, time off is a motivator. So you have to be
Yeah.
flexible to help your team want to come to work and do the best for you because
Mm-hmm.
you're respecting them as well.
Yeah. No, but that's the way it is, right? Because if you are younger, money you will go to somebody else because you can make 150 more than in a month than somewhere else.
Right.
But if you have more experience in life and in business, then you want to work with somebody you actually like and you like the atmosphere, the
Right.
culture, etc. And then money is not that big of a point. The difference should be not that big, of course, but
Mm-hmm.
culture, the way, the chances you have investing in training, in a career path is way more important.
So that word culture gets tossed around. You hear it at
Hmm.
every conference and people talk about it.
Sure.
So the companies that you consult with, the dealer groups you work with, or even your
Hmm.
own company,
Yeah.
when you say culture, what are some of the things that you see businesses doing that end up creating the culture or having a good culture? Because you can't just wish it. You have to sort of do things. What do you see, or what do you focus on for your own companies?
For my own companies, it's like I have three now. So we have the DCDW, which is the consultancy firm where we are the reseller of some software tools we are getting from the US. We have a culture there where freedom is everything. So before the COVID hit, etc., we had a rule that you don't ask me for free time. You will not ask me, can I work from home or whatever. If you do your job, I don't care where you do it, when you do it.
Right.
And now you see that the team evolved in that they want to work together in the office, they want to work hard, and I don't have to push them ever, because they have all their own responsibility, and we are working like the gun-ho book, where everybody has their own responsibility. We all know our main goals, and I'm very transparent in the financials what we are going through. Then on the other side, I have a call center with 50 plus agents. And you know for sure, managing a call center is a way different animal.
Right.
And their training is actually more important than money. So we are getting people, agents from other call centers, because we are training them every week. And with other call centers, they are putting through the lions and they are saying, I I will hear your conversations or the results. We will always train them, help them, coach them to become better, and then we have a plan what they can become in 2 years.
Right.
And then on the dealership, establishing a culture from the beginning. That's the hard part, because the culture will evolve from not from a PowerPoint but by actions.
Yes. I see. I love that because I I know for my own company is that the
Hmm.
culture is built by the people. I can
Yeah,
think what I want, but
yeah.
it's allowing them. And I really liked all three of those examples because they're so varied in a way where
Hmm.
when you have a small consultancy, same with our company, is
Hmm.
that people can take time off when they need. If I have to feel like I have to manage you to do your work, then you can't be here.
No.
Now, but that's evolved because in the beginning, you to try to build that culture, you have to
Yeah.
be actively involved to make sure you've done enough training to get out of their way. And that's what
Yeah,
I
but
liked
also
about
the
your
other ones will train the other ones.
yes, 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 yes.
You
And
don't have to manage them. The colleagues will manage them.
and that's see, and that's I said this to someone the other day. I said, because they were talking about leadership and management. I
Hmm.
said, in my opinion, I can lead a team, meaning I go,
Hmm.
this is where we want to go. I manage numbers, I
Yeah.
manage data, I coach people. And so what you were saying was is that for the call center, that idea of coaching people versus telling them what I want, not helping them, and then yelling at them because they didn't get results.
Hmm.
That is what I call like the bookends. You're you're giving them activities to do, trying to get to a result, but you're not doing
Hmm.
anything in the middle to help them understand what they have to do to get there. But I think all of those in their varying, as different as they may sound, ultimately that's what builds the culture. It's the day-to-day activities of what
Sure.
people are doing.
And the example what you are setting by yourself. So at the dealership, every day when I'm coming there, I will arrange cars. I will do the weeds. I will do the dishes or whatever, to show them everybody that I can be the owner every day of the month, but I will not skip any work what laying around, because every work is important. work.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, there was someone today I was talking to a dealer, and he was talking about when he went in as a general manager to shake up the culture, he took everyone's title off their business cards. Or one, I think he said, or I just put manager. And he
Yeah,
goes, so everybody is
was a man.
responsible.
Yeah,
Everybody's responsible to, like
yeah,
you said, but not, well, that's not my job. That's not my job. His said, everything is everybody's job. You have certain roles that you have to do, but if a customer's there, it's everybody's job to greet them. If you see a dirty dish, it's everybody's job to clean it. If you see something on the ground, it's everybody's job to pick it up. So it moves the whole company forward versus that's not my job.
yeah. But that's something I can relate to, because at the DCDW we have all business cards, but nobody has a title on the business card. If
Exactly.
you see at Marktplaats, is a former eBay company where I'm the ambassador of. Everybody needs a new business card when they change the title, because
Right.
the title in the corporate environment is way more important than anything else.
Yes. Yes. My
And in a
wife
smaller
tells me
company,
that.
nobody cares.
Yeah, my wife tells me that because I've never really worked in a large corporation,
Yeah,
always small. And she said
yeah,
it's very important. People fight for titles because it
yeah.
helps them in their career path as they move from one company to
Yeah.
another. Versus, she said, it doesn't matter because you just are focused on trying to do the business in order
Yeah.
to help the clients.
So
So
if you are consulting in Mexico, you will not put it on your resume. They will put it on the resume that they're international, whatever.
right.
Huh?
So let me ask you this. I had around this, because you always are, you and I have always connected on this idea of building processes and training and this
Yeah.
consistency. There are still people that say, oh, the new generation, younger generations, or people are lazier, they don't want to work. And I'm always of the mindset, there are people my age who are lazy. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. It's not an age. It's just that we are in a different time where children, your child, my children, they've just been exposed and they have access to things faster and easier than we did. But that
Yeah.
doesn't mean that they don't want to work or do things. It's, you just can't get away with saying I'm the boss and this is what you have to do, because there's so many options. What are you seeing with the youth in Europe in that way?
No, in every investigation, survey, etc., they will say the same. This generation will not work. Needs time off. Will do this. Not will anything else. But the practice is that the market will always how do I call it, always moderate yourself. Will I don't know the English word from top of my mind, but if you are young and you want everything else, you want on holidays, etc.,
Right.
you need to work for that one, and you cannot work for 3 days for that one. So
Right.
the market will discipline yourself in your behavior. So first, when you are 21, 22, you think everybody's waiting for you. Then you are going to the workspace, and then everybody's 30, 45, 50, etc., and will and give you a hard time. And then that market will discipline you. And then you will need a house, you need a mortgage, you need this, you need that. Then you need to work for it. So I see in the call center as well, and in the dealership as well, I have 24-year-olds which are very, very good, very want to work 6 days a week from bell to bell,
Hmm.
don't want to do anything. And I have people on the call center of 45 and they are lazy as hell. So
Right.
it's all about the person you deal with and not anything about the age. I know people from my age which are very lazy still, which
Exactly.
I go to high school, always complaining about the politics, about the money, about anything else except them, but laying on their couch every day at 4 o'clock.
Yeah. I think that's really important. And I agree with you because it's easy. I personally think that's lazy management to just
Yeah,
blame a group of people versus saying there are always people who want to work. And I have a lot of younger employees as well, and
yeah,
they get offended. They get
yeah,
offended when they
yeah,
say, oh, your whole generation. They're going, wait a minute, I've had a
yeah,
job since I've been 14 and I did
yeah,
this and look at my role and I've been working with you for a couple of years and I've
yeah,
gotten promoted and I do this. So I agree. I think you as a leader need to look at willingness to work. You can teach skills, but hiring the right people, they're there. If you hire just on age, you're right. There are lazy people
no,
at every age who don't want to work or
yeah,
blame
but
everybody except themselves.
also if you talk to your parents had that same conversation with their parents about you, about your generation.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
it will always go like that, and in every generation you have great people and not so great people.
Absolutely. Now I do think that things have rapidly moved, meaning that
Sure.
the transition between my childhood and my parents' childhood,
Hmm.
yes, they grew up in the depression and things, and maybe there were less, but there wasn't this rapid leap that from, in my lifetime, the fact of everything can be on a phone now. And you
Hmm.
have to understand some of these kids, they've never not had a smartphone. They've never not had the internet. They never not had
Sure.
500 channels, all
No.
of that. So you can't blame them. You just have to understand that's their reality and
Yeah.
then say, it still doesn't matter because there's kids who are like, I don't watch TV because I have two jobs or I'm trying to be
Yeah.
entrepreneurial. And
Yeah.
and I think that is more exciting to me
Hmm.
than blame. I want to leverage them because they're way smarter than we are. They're faster about this stuff. And
Yeah.
they're a lot of
And
them
they
are,
know more about it, and they
oh
are
my
more
God, yes.
social than we are because they have so many friends all over the world instead
Yes.
of me at that same age. My world
Oh,
was way smaller than Daniel's world is.
oh, I say the same thing. I mean, if you think about it, everybody goes, "Oh, well, they're playing video games." I'm like, that's the way they're socializing. They're talking
Yeah.
to their friends, and their
Yeah.
friends are across town in another state, somewhere else,
Yeah.
where when we went home, at the end of the day, there was nothing but our parents or our brothers. There
Yeah.
wasn't there wasn't the ability to, and your parents wouldn't let you sit on the phone all night or talk. And even if you could, you talk to one person. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I think they're incredibly more connected and more social
Sure. Yeah.
than we ever were. So as we move towards the last sort of part of this,
Hmm.
where what there's the conversation over here about electric vehicles and there's
Hmm.
arguments about electric vehicles and there's the news about it's coming and then of course
Hmm.
automotive in my opinion jumps from one side to the other and they go to extremes where it's like okay everybody wants an EV or everybody
Yeah.
wants to buy their car online. I still don't see the infrastructure where supposedly in 5 years everybody's going to be driving these. But
Hmm.
from your experience, because in Holland there is a lot, and maybe because again it's a smaller area to be
Hmm.
able to control, what do you see in terms looking at us at the US from your side?
Yeah.
What are we getting right and what are we missing when we're talking about this EV, onslaught?
Now, if you see the EV market in the Netherlands, we have with Norway the most dense charger station availability in Europe. So
Mhm.
on every street corner, etc., you can charge a car with a card, etc. Very easy, and everybody can do that. The grid can handle that as well. eh? Um, the government will push that as well from the environment aspect, etc. But what you're now getting is that big companies or smaller companies as well, if you have a company car, they will force you into an EV because that's a USP to work on, to be on marketing on, that we are
Mhm.
environmentally friendly, we only drive EVs, etc. So the government is pushing it, but also the companies are pushing it from themselves.
Okay.
So the search is going on now. More than 50% of the new car sales is EV in Holland. So that's a lot.
Right.
On the other hand, if you see from the dealer perspective, the OEMs were telling us 10 years already that they cannot make money on EVs. And that the maintenance is less, etc., and that you have to figure out something else. So on the maintenance part, you get other maintenance. You are getting more damage, so more collisions. You're getting more brakes, more tires. If you're losing the tires and the brakes business already to the independents, you are screwed, right?
Right.
Because then you will lose that as well. So you have to be very good in marketing on those aspects. But there are great examples in the Netherlands from dealers which are selling EVs with a less margin because they don't have that kind of margin, but also selling an card to be charging everywhere. They are selling the solar panels on the house to charge the car. They are selling the battery for the house to put the extended solar power in the battery for charging the house at night. And some dealers are very specialized in the refurbishing of the batteries. So the soccer stadium in Amsterdam have a lot of solar panels, and the extended power is going to batteries of cars which come from damaged car, collision cars, etc. And there's a dealer behind it that sell those. So they think about, if I cannot make money on the car, which I can make money on. And then they're all infrastructure. So
But
they
that's
are making.
so what you're saying is from the US, if he again heard it this morning,
Mhm.
is post COVID, it's getting into a tougher time to make money on cars, meaning
Yeah,
profit. So they're saying, remember in 2017, most new car sales were a loser because everybody was
yeah,
fighting to the bottom. Where they made their money was on service.
financing. Yeah.
So now what you're saying is that you may not have the oil changes or you're not having this, but you have to change your mentality to say, well, what is service for an EV? But I like that idea of, well, I'm partnering with someone to sell the panels for your house, or the battery for you to charge, or I'm
Yeah.
buy your battery back, and but aggressively saying, what can I do, which is tires and this and that. And I
But
have to really change my marketing thought process
yeah.
to engage in that pool of potential money.
But Glenn, there is a big independent dealer in the Netherlands with a big outlet. On that outlet, on his roof, he has all solar panels. He has a lot of Hyundais on stock, EV Hyundais, which have the availability to get the power in from the solar panels and give the power away at night back to the grid. So he will make money on the Hyundai, which will stay in his stock as an electric company. So he will sell the electric from the battery at night for a good margin because there's no sun at night, no wind at night,
Right, right,
whatever.
right.
So he will make money on cars which sitting on their lots because he's making he's making
That's so
electricity
smart.
from. Yeah,
Well, because that's what when at my house, you always get the knock on the door and it's the solar panel salesman who is
yeah,
telling you that you could make money, not extra money, but your bill's going to go down because any excess that you don't use, you can
hmm,
sell back to the grid. But
yeah,
I never thought that's so smart to say, well, I have 50 cars sitting here with batteries. I could sell that all back and they'll stay, I'll
yeah,
keep charging them, but I'm going to
yeah,
sell it at night to somebody else.
yeah,
That's so smart.
yeah,
That's so
and
smart.
and that's why it's sometimes important that an OEM is saying there will be no margin. and then you will figure out something else. And now the OEMs are saying we cannot sell them anymore, the EVs in Europe, because it is declining. And now they are getting the margin back.
Right. So they do that. That's fantastic. I love that. So, well, this has been fantastic. This has been great.
Yeah.
I've missed chatting with you. You are always inspiring to me. So let me ask you 3 questions. I end the show with 3 questions. So the first one, I usually call it the one. So it's just whatever comes to your mind. You are a great student of not just automotive, but of, you learn. What is something that you're reading or listening to or watching that's inspiring you right now?
I saw on Facebook the 20 books you have to read, right? So
right.
I started that. So the first book was something about power that was very wrong book in my mind. The next book was The 7 Habits.
Yes.
But the third book was Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I actually loved that book. It was very inspiring, and that put me on some other directories about the finances of the company, which makes sense. So you always learn something.
Good. And by the way, I think I have your address, but you got to send it to me. I have a book I'll send you to that I've been reading. That's been really good. So second, what is something that you're working on personally for you that a year from now, you're going to look back and say, that was worth my time and investment?
That should be the dealership, right? I started the dealership 14 months ago. The last month was the first month we were in the profit. So it took 13 months to be in the black. And it is a dealership from a brand where there is 35 dealerships in the Netherlands. And in the first year, we are the number 1 in the country. And the number 1 in the country will not say that you are making money, but that was one of the goals. And a year from now, it should be a profitable business from the get-go. And that should be my task to working on. And I thought it was easier. It was way harder than I thought, but we will go there.
All right. Last question. We talked about a lot of different things. So if there's one thing that you want the audience, someone who's listening to this, if they took one thing away from our conversation, what would that one thing be?
The loyalty of your people will start with you. So if you are giving them the opportunity that they are getting a contract for life, what we have actually, then the loyalty will be the other way around as well. And then you don't have to be always hustling, hunting for new people.
I like that. That is fantastic. Well, Paul, thank you very much. Taking time with me today. How can people connect with you online? Again, you're very active on social, but if somebody wants to connect with you, an audience, Paul is a phenomenal person to connect with, so I recommend it highly. Where can they find you?
The best way is on LinkedIn. We are not using Facebook that much here, especially not from the business-to-business perspective. So if you look on Paul de Vries on LinkedIn, then you will find me. And I will put on something every day, writing a lot of articles. Yes, it is in Dutch, but the translation is very easy. Right. So it will be there.
Great. And yeah, we'll link up everything in the show notes for everybody as well. So again, Paul, thank you. I can't wait to see you in a couple of weeks. Audience, you know the drill. Appreciate your time, but just hang on for a few seconds and we'll read you out and I'll share a couple things with you. Thanks again, Paul. See you next time.
Thank you, Glenn. See you.